Hello. Today, we're here to talk about a very complex subject. Death. That's right. What happens at the moment of your death, but more importantly, what happens after your death. We'll get to the moment in a second, but first let us begin. What happens after you die? Well, to start this video off, let's give one of the views of the best philosophers of all time, Socrates. His views on death were very dualistic. He thought that when you die, either the afterlife is basically just this plane where all these beings reside after their life. This includes Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, all this consciousness. So you could talk to them if you wanted to, if this possibility was true, that after death, death was just an eternal plane of bliss. Okay, I'll buy it. That was his first option. But he said, Socrates was also very skeptical, and he said, well, that's a very positive outlook on death. What if death didn't have a positive outlook? So he came to the assumption that after we die, it's like a light sleep. Lights just go out. Everything goes dark. But he didn't view that as negative. He viewed it as equal because he said, I feel like I need to sleep. So either way, whatever death is, it's a positive thing in the eyes of Socrates. My opinion, what happens after you die, well, that entirely depends on what you do now. And this is where the philosophies of karma, reincarnation, all that stuff ties in. But let's talk about the moment of your death. Now, to talk about the very moment of your death, which subjectively I think is probably only a couple seconds, but it's going to feel like eternity. To quote the Tibetan Book of the Dead, I'm going to say that one more time. The Tibetan Book of the Dead. If you have not read it, read it. It is basically a formal guideline for the departing souls leaving this earth. To quote the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the very moment of your death, there's going to be a very bright light. Very bright. If you have not reached enlightenment or redemption, this is your final chance at doing it before your tests and trials. That's right. Just like here on Earth, once you die, there's a series of tests and trials, just not governed by humans. So, there's this very bright light. However, most people don't go into the light. Why? I cannot give you an answer. Whether it's they don't associate themselves with the light, they don't deem themselves as worthy enough, or they're just distracted, but they don't go into the light. And the thing is this light is not going to stay open forever. This portal is only going to be open for a few moments of time. So you got to act quick. What happens after? Well, that's when the tests and trials begin. Now, these tests and trials will last for about 2 weeks human time, yet they will feel like an eternity. And the reason that they will feel like an eternity is because you won't be tested on the same thing. And whether you're tested by archangels, or even God himself. I don't know. I won't know until I die. That's the beauty of it all. But this series of tests and trials, basically what they are is they're testing you on different levels of your consciousness. What is your level of fear? What is your level of anxiety? What is your level of attachment? All these things. Yet they will be happening on different days of the trials. So, day 1, you might be visited by one archangel, but on day 2, day 3, even day 7, you will not be visited by anything similar at all. So you can't think that, oh yeah, I passed these other 4 tests, I got the rest under my belt. Nope. What happens then, based upon your test results, will justify your next life. That's right. Death is not the end of life. That is the answer. Death is not the end of life. It is only a justification of what that life is going to be. Now, basically, if you do not go into that bright light at the beginning, you're going to have 3 chances during these tests and trials to try and redeem yourself. However, you will not reach that highest level of redemption. You will reach a lower level, which is still redemption. Redemption is redemption, just not the highest redemption. I'll take that. Hallelujah. However, if you fail these tests, and depending on the tests that you fail, will depend on your next life. You may come as an animal, you may come as a bird, which are still animals, but ultimately you won't come as human, but you'll come back to Earth if you fail. So you don't want to fail, because there's nowhere to go but up. Let's say that one passes the tests and trials. Well, that's good. That's good. You're still going to be reincarnated, though. That's just the way it is. However, because you passed those series of tests and trials, you have a higher level of understanding. So therefore, your karma is going to be a hell of a lot better than if you didn't. Now, let's say you didn't pass these tests and trials. What does this mean? Well, I'm sorry to say, but this karma is going to pass over into your next life. Whether that's going to affect your family's health, your family's mental status, their level of mentality, their wealth status, how much wealth they are able to accumulate over their life, even though that's not very important. All these things tie into the cosmic energy that runs through all of us. So, in a nutshell, that is what happens after you die. It's either A, just this eternal line where all beings reside, and where one can communicate with one another just without the corporal body. Option B, it's just an eternal sleep, no dreaming, just to sleep, which is a state of peace. Or option 3, that you will reincarnate onto Earth if you fail these tests and trials. If you pass them, you will go to heaven, and if you do enter that very bright light from the very beginning, at the very moment of your death, if you are one of the select few, then boom, you are going to go to nirvana. No doubt about it. And that's all I have to say about death. If you got any more questions, comment them down below. a metaphysical philosophy. Have a wonderful night.